I almost dropped the card. Not because of what it looked like, but because of what it said. My hand started shaking before I even finished the first sentence. And in that moment, I realized. Some gifts don't come to celebrate you. They come to reveal the truth. Mother's Day mornings are usually loud. Burnt toast. Cold coffee. Kids arguing over who forgot the flowers. But that morning, my house was silent. Sunlight spilled softly through the kitchen window, landing on the small dining table where my daughter stood. She was 8. Too young to understand how heavy silence can feel. She held something behind her back. "Close your eyes, Mom," she said. I laughed. "Why are you whispering?" "Because this one is important." That should have been my first warning. She handed me a card. Pink. Handmade. Slightly bent at the corners. I smiled the way mothers do, the automatic smile. The one that hides exhaustion, sacrifice, and 1,000 unspoken worries. I opened it. And that's when my heart stopped. Inside, in uneven handwriting, were words no child should ever write. "Mommy, I'm sorry I didn't tell you sooner." Sorry? About what? My breath caught in my throat. I looked up at her. She wasn't smiling. She was watching my face. Waiting. Parents know this feeling. That instant shift, when love turns into fear without warning. "Sweetheart," I said carefully, "what is this about?" She shrugged. Too casually. "I just wrote what I felt." I went back to the card. "I didn't want you to be sad." My mind started racing. Had someone hurt her? Had something happened at school? Was this about her father? The house felt suddenly smaller. The walls closer. I continued reading. "I hear things when you think I'm asleep." The room tilted. Hear things. At night, after I tucked her in, I thought she slept peacefully. I thought my whispers were safe. I thought my tears were silent. I was wrong. I remembered those nights. Standing alone in the kitchen. Bills spread across the counter. My phone face down, unread messages from people who promised help but disappeared. And me whispering to myself. How am I going to do this alone? I never said it to her. I thought. I looked at my daughter again. She was biting her lip. Nervous. "Mom?" she asked softly. "Are you mad?" Mad? No. I was terrified. My hands trembled as I read the next line. "I know you cry when everyone is asleep." That was it. The dam broke. Tears blurred my vision. My chest tightened with a pain so sharp it felt physical. Because children aren't supposed to carry their parents' pain. Then I saw the last folded page. There was more. A lot more. And I wasn't sure I was ready for it. I closed the card. Not because I was done reading. But because I was afraid of what the next words might reveal. Because whatever my daughter knew had already changed everything. I sat there for a long moment. The card rested in my hands like it weighed 100 pounds. My daughter stood across from me, small fingers twisted together, waiting for a reaction that would tell her whether she had made a mistake. "Mom," she whispered again. I forced a smile. "Give me just 1 minute, okay?" She nodded and slowly backed away, settling on the couch. Her eyes never left me. I opened the card again. The handwriting got messy. Like she'd been crying while writing it. "Sometimes I pretend to sleep because I don't want you to worry." My heart clenched. This wasn't just a card. This was a confession. Parents spend their lives trying to protect their children from pain. But no one tells you what it feels like to realize. Your child has been protecting you. I swallowed hard and kept reading. "When you say we'll be okay, I believe you. But when you cry, I get scared." I covered my mouth. All those nights I thought I was strong. All those mornings I told myself, she doesn't know how hard this is. She knew. I remembered one night clearly. The power had gone out. Rain hammered the windows. I sat on the floor of my bedroom, back against the bed, trying not to sob out loud. I never checked her door. I assumed she was asleep. I was wrong. The next line changed the entire story. That's why I started doing something, Mommy. Doing something? My chest tightened. What could an 8-year-old possibly be doing, for me? 1,000 thoughts raced through my head. Had she told someone our private struggles? Was she blaming herself for our problems? Had someone noticed something they shouldn't have? I read on. I saved my lunch money. I froze. I didn't buy snacks for a long time. My hands began to shake. I put the money in my backpack pocket. I wanted to give it to you. Time stopped. No music. No sound. Just my heartbeat pounding in my ears. This was the moment everything changed. An 8-year-old child. Skipping treats. Skipping joy. Because she thought it was her job. To help her mother survive. That is not love. That is sacrifice no child should ever make. I looked up at her. Sweetheart, come here. She walked slowly, like she was afraid. I wasn't supposed to tell you yet, she said quickly. It was going to be a surprise. A surprise? My voice cracked. For when you're really sad, she said. I was going to say, here, Mommy. This is for you. That's when I broke. I pulled her into my arms so tightly she squeaked. I cried the kind of cry that comes from somewhere deeper than pain. The kind that carries guilt, love, fear, and regret all at once. I'm so sorry, I whispered. I never meant for you to feel like this was your job. She hugged me back. I just wanted to help. If you're watching this right now, and you're a parent, this is the moment where you stop and ask yourself, what do my children see when they think I'm not looking? I thought that was the end of it. I thought the card was finished. But then she said something. That made my blood run cold. There's one more thing, she said quietly. I pulled back. What do you mean? She hesitated. Then she whispered. I told someone about you. My heart stopped. Who? I asked. She looked down at the floor. And answered. The room felt cold all of a sudden. Not temperature cold. That deeper kind. The kind that settles in your chest when you realize something is already out of your control. Who? I asked again. My voice didn't sound like mine. My daughter shifted her weight from one foot to the other. I didn't mean to get you in trouble, she said quickly. I didn't know what else to do. In trouble for what, baby? I said, forcing calm. She took a breath. And then she said the last name I ever expected to hear. My teacher. Everything inside me dropped. Her teacher. Images rushed through my mind. Mandatory reporters. School counselors. Phone calls I wasn't prepared for. You told her what? I asked carefully. She stared at the carpet. That you cry at night. That you say you're tired. That sometimes you don't eat dinner. I closed my eyes. Those weren't lies. But they weren't the whole truth either. Did she say anything? I asked. She asked me if we were safe, my daughter replied. And if you ever tell me you wish you could disappear. My chest tightened. I remembered that night. I hadn't meant it literally. I'd been exhausted. Overwhelmed. Speaking into the dark. But to a child. Words don't disappear. I saw it clearly now. Her bedroom door cracked open. The faint glow of her nightlight. Me sitting at the table, head in my hands. I just want everything to stop for 1 minute, I had whispered. I never said her name. But she heard it anyway. She asked me if you ever hurt yourself, my daughter continued. My heart pounded. No, I said immediately. No, sweetheart. Never. I told her that, she said. But she still wrote things down. Of course she did. Every parent has a nightmare. Not about monsters or accidents. But about someone misunderstanding your love. About being seen only through your weakest moments. About losing control of your own story. That afternoon, my phone rang. Unknown number. I stared at it for 3 full rings before answering. Hello. Hi, this is Mrs. Carter from the school, the voice said gently. I wanted to check in after a conversation I had with your daughter. My stomach dropped. She's a wonderful child, the teacher continued. Very thoughtful. Very aware. Aware. That word hurt more than anything. She said some things that concerned me, the teacher said carefully. About how much responsibility she feels at home. I sat down. I never meant for her to feel that way, I said quietly. I believe you, the teacher replied. But sometimes kids carry what parents don't realize they're putting down. Then she said something unexpected. This isn't about punishment, she said. It's about support. Support. No accusations. No threats. Just concern. She connected me with a counselor. Not for my daughter. For me. Someone to talk to. Someone who reminded me that strength doesn't mean silence. That asking for help doesn't mean failing as a parent. It means choosing to stay. That night, I tucked my daughter into bed differently. I sat longer. I listened more. Mom, she asked. Yes. Are you mad? I told. I shook my head. No, I said honestly. I'm proud of you. She smiled. And for the first time in a long while. She slept without pretending. But the story wasn't finished yet. Because the card. The card still had one final line. One line I hadn't read out loud. I unfolded the very last corner. And what my daughter had written there would change how I saw motherhood forever. Sometimes the people who save us don't even know they're doing it. The house was quiet again. Not the heavy silence from before. A softer one. The kind that listens instead of judging. My daughter was asleep. Curled on her side. One arm wrapped around her favorite stuffed animal. I sat at the kitchen table alone. The card lay open in front of me. There was only one line left. Written smaller than the rest. Carefully. Like she was afraid to say it too loudly. Mommy, if you ever feel like giving up, please don't. Because I still need you. I stopped breathing. No music. No thoughts. Just the sound of my own heart breaking open. All the nights I thought my strength was invisible. It wasn't. All the times I believed my pain was hidden. It wasn't. And all the moments I told myself they'd be better off without seeing me struggle. I was wrong. Because what she saw was not weakness. She saw someone who stayed. I pressed the card to my chest and cried silently. Not out of sadness. Out of realization. That love doesn't need perfection. It needs presence. That motherhood isn't about being unbreakable. It's about being honest enough to heal. The days that followed were different. I spoke more. I hid less. I learned how to say, I'm having a hard day. Without apologizing for it. And something unexpected happened. My daughter laughed more. Because children don't need superheroes. They need humans who come back. One night, weeks later, she asked. Mom. Yes. You're not crying as much. I smiled. Because I learned something from you. She frowned. I didn't teach you anything. I kissed her forehead. You taught me everything. If you're watching this, and you've ever whispered your pain into the dark, believing no one hears, someone does. If you're a parent trying to be strong by staying silent, your kids don't need silence. They need truth wrapped in love. And if you've ever felt like giving up, please remember this. To someone in your life, your presence is the reason they keep going. That Mother's Day card didn't celebrate me. It saved me.